Hey everyone, so here's just a quick little video on how you would solve equations using algebra tiles. The first thing you need to do is just model the equation first using the algebra tiles that we had talked about in a previous lesson. So we need to have a long tile like this, which is called our X tile. And then we have to have our small little tiles like this, which are our unit tiles. Since we're only dealing with positive integers right now, we're not going to have to worry about shading them in yellow or black. So we're just going to leave them open and white like this, which will represent positive. In order to do this, the first thing you need to do is, as I had mentioned before, is model this equation in tile form. So in order to do that, I'm going to draw 10 unit tiles. And it doesn't have to be too fancy, as long as we can understand that they are unit tiles. I'm going to draw the squiggly line right here, however you want to do it, like an elongated S or anything like that. I'm going to draw 4 more unit tiles, like this, and I'm going to draw 1 X tile. So I've modeled this equation using our algebra tiles. Now, step number 2 that we had talked about is we need to isolate that variable, which is the X tile. We want to make this X tile all by itself. So in order to do that, we have to remove these 4 tiles that I've just put in a red kind of rectangle, and we're just going to remove them and put them into the algebraic void. I also had mentioned what we do to one side of the equation, because this squiggly line acts like an equals, and we want to preserve equality. So whatever we do on one side of the equation, we do have to do to the other. So I have to remove these tiles. There's 4, so they're in a grouping of 4, and they also go into that algebraic void that we had talked about. Now I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles, and I'm left with 1 X tile. What I need to do is group these tiles, the remainder of tiles right here, so they match up with whatever tile with the X tile. So there's going to be one group. So I'm just going to redraw my squiggly line down here, redraw my 1 X tile like this. It's a little bit big, I know. And I'm going to regroup all of these tiles so they're in one long group of 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is my equal sign, and I have X. And therefore, X in my equation equals 6. And again, this is a relatively simple equation. Now, this can work with almost all of them, or any algebraic expression or equation. So for example, if I have 3x equals 9, and again, now this is a multiplication. We identified this in a previous lesson that if there's no symbol right here, it's multiplication. So then I would just model this equation using my 3 X tiles. Now we really like it when we get these multiplication ones. They're quite simple, because now I take the remainder of these 9 tiles right that I put in that black square, and I'm going to organize these 9 unit tiles into 3 equal groups. Just like this. So there's my second 3, so there's 6. Whoops, that's a pretty bad one right there. So I have them in 3 groups, and then I can say that 1 X tile group is equal to 3. All right, so then I can of course go back and verify this picture right here and just substitute the 3 in there, and just make sure that both sides of my equal sign equal 9, and therefore X equals 3. All right, now there are some cases where I'm just going to flip over to a new slide here, where perhaps you have something that's 2x plus 4 equals 12. Again, this can be a really long equation to model if you want to take some shortcuts, but if it does ask you to draw a model, you have to model this equation using algebra tiles first. So I'm going to draw my 2 X tiles like this. I'm going to draw my 4 unit tiles squiggly line for equals. I'm going to group my tiles into easy groups that I can work with and remove. So there's 9. Oops, that's more like a circle as best I can. And then what I need to do is I need to isolate the X tiles. And how I do that, again, is I remove 4 tiles from this side, and I can remove 4 tiles from this side, just take them away. And then what I can do is go back and regroup my X tiles like this. And on this side of the squiggly line, I would regroup these into 2 equal groups. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 8. Easy to regroup these things already. So this X tile equals 4. This one equals 4. Like that. And then one group, X equals 4. Now, if I want to verify this solution, if you want to draw the picture, it's pretty straightforward. We would just put these back into the picture and redo that. Now, if you want to verify this using simple algebra or simple replacement within the equation, we can just stick the X value back into our algebraic equation. And as long as each side of the equation equals 12, which we call preserving equality, then we are set. All right, so therefore, this X does equal 4. All right, hope this helps.